After the Cars and Coffee at Topaz detailing, the supercar owners convoy moved to the McLaren Technology Centre, which is the home of, you guessed it, McLaren. The racing team was founded in 1963 by a New Zealand racing driver, Bruce McLaren, and it is, with 12 F1 drivers' titles, the second most successful team in Formula 1 history. In the 1990s, McLaren Automotive has launched the McLaren F1, a carbon fiber-bodied supercar with a central seating position, which set the world record speed of 386 km per hour in 1993. This record has not been beaten for 12 long years. In the 2000s, it has opened this new fancy production centre in Woking, England, and the Queen herself appeared at the opening party. At this factory, all the Mercedes-Benz McLaren SLRs and the later McLaren production vehicles, such as the P1, were produced. Yet, for a normal mortal, it is impossible to have a look inside. There are no public factory tours, and only chosen McLaren owners get to see the production line. And that is why I wanted to get in so much. The problem was that I had no badge, no lanyard, and pretty much no plan coming in. I had my vest, but that was of little use here. The McLaren workers and security were much stricter than I expected, and let in only around 70 owners and a selected group of around 15 photographers. I was running out of time, as most of the supercars were already inside and the security was getting frustrated by random people, such as me, trying to get in. In the end, I managed to get past the first wave of security by coming up with a random name which was on the list of people allowed in, held by this woman. I progressed through the vast premises of the center, and to my surprise, there were no other checks, apart from one guy noting my missing lanyard. I officially got in! Alright guys, so I am just now at the McLaren Factory, and the lineup of car here is just amazing, let's say. Just behind me here we've got a couple of Pagani Veyrons, as well as a Koenigsegg 121 and 600 LT. The 600 LT is pretty much the basic car here in the hypercar area of the parking. So yeah, that's that. First of all, I took videos of some of the guest hypercars, and as I got more brave, I advanced towards the main plaza and the driveway. So far, no McLaren employees seem to care that unlike all other people there, I was lacking a badge. This McLaren P1 chassis 177 is painted in a Pacific blue color, which has a chameleon-like effect and changes in shade when looked at from different angles. It also has matching air vents, carbon seat backs, and P1 badges on the engine and the headrests. This unique color option cost around $75,000. Just walking here past a lineup of 4 Sennas and 3 P1s. Like, what is this? This is incredible. Alright guys, so as you can see, I have managed to sneak into the McLaren Technology Centre with the infamous lake here behind me and some of the rarest and coolest McLarens here as well. But now, let's go and have a look at them more closely. Alright, so over here we're on the main driveway, which sort of leads over there from the entrance, all the way here next to the lake and to the entrance of the Technology Centre. And here we have all the nicer McLarens lined up. This P1, finished in amethyst black paint, has done over 30,000 kilometers and is the McLaren P1 Press Car, which means that it was driven, for example, by Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear. This P1 is the last P1 ever made, with the chassis number 375. Its spec is inspired by the last ever McLaren F1, And even though its paint is very similar to a volcano orange, it is actually a pearlescent Ikem orange, based on the favorite wine of the F1 owner. Once I got all the shots I needed, I decided to test my luck and walk through the main entrance, guarded by 2 employees, and straight to the main boulevard of the McLaren Technology Centre. Yep, got in, no problem. What if I went a step further and joined a group of supercar owners on a private tour of the factory? Yep, no problem. I didn't look suspicious at all. Oh yeah, and by the way, these are the lanyards I was talking about previously. Now you can understand that I looked a bit out of place. This McLaren F1 LM, one of 6 worldwide, was built to honor the 5 McLaren F1 GTRs that raced in Le Mans in 1995. And it might be my favorite F1 ever built. Apparently, this exact prototype car was supposed to be gifted to Lewis Hamilton by Ron Dennis if he won both the Drivers' and Constructors' F1 championships for the team in 2008. That didn't happen though, and so the F1 LM stays on display at the Technology Centre. There was also a plethora of legendary F1 cars, driven by drivers such as Niki Lauda, James Hunt, or Ayrton Senna. But if I was to talk about these in more detail, this video would be infinitely long. In the end, I got a full walking tour of the factory, F1 departments, as well as the production line with customer Speedtails, Senna GTRs, and more. Got in? No problem. We have just now gone to the McLaren production facility, and now we're heading back to the main boulevard with the cars and stuff. But how did I get to here? This is so fucking cool. In this lineup, there was a McLaren F1, finished in Silverstone Grey Metallic and owned by the legendary designer Gordon Merry. This particular F1 established the world speed record and has done over 100,000 kilometers since. Oh, and this F1 GTR in Renault Clinic grey livery has won the 1995 24 Hours of Le Mans. Lastly, there was this F1 GTR Longtail, number 20 out of 28 built, in Gulf livery. At the end of the day, most people already left, and I chatted with some of the owners. That's what I call networking. Karina Lima, whose Koenigsegg broke down on the way to the Technology Centre, took some Instagram photos, and here you can see the behind the scenes of that process. Ever done a handstand in front of a £1.3 million car? So it's almost the end of the day now, and I'm walking off the McLaren Technology Centre property. But what a day this has been. Still overwhelmed by the events of that day, I caught a ride back to London with supercars on the streets and Joel Meneses photography. Thanks guys. But what a day this was. Hopefully next time I'm at the McLaren Technology Centre, I'll be there with my own supercar. List of hypercars seen.